Hey guys, StormCrowd 101 here, back with another video, and today I'm watching a YouTube video. Haven't done one of these in a while. This is Evolution Fails in the Human Body by the channel It's Okay to Be Smart. Let's get into this video.
Hey smart people, Joe here. Bodies. We've all got them, couldn't live without them, but why are they so dumb and unreliable? I don't know if it's because I just got over a sinus infection, or because my wife just had knee surgery, or maybe it's just me getting older and hurting more.
Oh, actually, before we get into it, I just want to say, for evolution normally takes millions of years. For us, it was only like hundreds of thousands, which is, it's rushed, okay? We just got stuck between living on land, well, living on the ground, and in the trees. Say how the spine's curved, it has this kind of curve like that. Well, like that. But that's not that good a shape for standing upright, because, this shape, if it's like this as a dome, yeah, it's good. Very strong shape. But like this, it just breaks so easily. Which is why when you get older, you start to get more hunchback. Like that. And, what else? Oh yeah, I'll just say speed, okay? First of all, not that streamlined. Flat, besides this nose sticking out. It's just flat here, a lot of drag. Flat here, a lot of drag. And the legs, actually I should probably use my own legs to demonstrate. Anyways, see this? The heel right here, well, not the heel, the ankle, the joint should be up here because of angular momentum. It's basically how a point further out will move. Basically, it looks like this. Where is it? See, this part of the tip of my finger will move faster than here next to my shoulder when I move it in a circle like this. See? This doesn't move that fast, but here it moves a lot faster. That's kind of the point. Like you would know with leverage. Say, if the crowbar, like this. This moves fast, this moves pretty slow. But this has, more strength than this. And, no, humans don't have a lot of strength. Our muscles only work at about 30%. And they only work at 100%, with an adrenaline rush. That's how, when you're angry, you get, stronger and faster and whatnot. And we can't handle going all out that for too long, because it starts to just shred your muscles up. Anyways, so yeah, the joint has to be here instead of here for a lot more speed. And also, the feet, it's just bent like this. It has this kind of dome shape for shocking, well, to deal with impact, like this, but it doesn't bend too much, which is why you get a lot of foot problems. Instead, it should be more like, say, bird feet, which it doesn't have to be like this. It could be, just like this, but it has to be more like, just springing up like this. And one little thing that would help out with speed a lot is having our joints locked. Like, for what I mean by that is, like this for just walking, and also just have them, unlocked so they move freely around, and also, to have them open up like this, so our feet would work like hands, better at climbing. So yeah, and also another joint here, also can lock up, so it's just walking pace, just with this, or running where you have these all, bendy, and the ankle is up here. like, I'll put pictures up on the screen for this, like the back legs of a horse, and also the build of a raptor. Like say, I'll just do a Utahraptor. No, because it should be easier to tell, well, any sort of raptor. But anyways, let's get back into it.
I'm a millennial. But I have been noticing lately that the human body, it's got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And this video is a big long rant about a bunch of them. I mean, don't get me wrong, humans are really awesome. I mean, look at all that we can do. It's just that there's so much about our bodies that is flawed. Like,
Yeah.
so many of our parts wear down or are easy to break, and others look like IKEA furniture would look if you accidentally threw away the instructions before putting it together. In that it basically functions, but you're pretty sure something's backwards, and somehow you have like 3 of those little twisty things left over. The great American poet John Mayer once said, "Your body is a wonderland," but I think he meant your body is a blunderland.
Yeah.
From eyes that don't work right and backs that ache to needy diets and extra bones, what I'm saying is, sure, our bodies look cool, especially if they're wearing an awesome shirt, but who the heck designed these things? Well, no one did. We'll get back to that, but first, instead of talking about how great we are, let's talk about some of our critical weaknesses for a change.
Evolution just stopped for us.
The first example is staring right at you. I mean, I don't wear these things to look cool and smart. I mean, they do make me look cool and smart, but I wear them because I can't see. Like nearly half of Americans and Europeans, or nearly 7 in 10 people in Asian countries, my peepers don't peep right. I've worn glasses since
I mean, I can
elementary
see just
school.
fine.
Space shuttle. Nice. Very on brand, younger me. Anyway, before the invention of corrective lenses a few centuries ago, people who couldn't see just couldn't see. Back in our prehistoric hunter-gatherer days, that could have meant starvation and death. Bad eyes, empty stomachs, you lose. Thing is, even if you don't wear glasses, you have eye problems. While looking at this image, cover your left eye and look at the dot while keeping your face centered in front of the screen. Slowly move closer or farther from your screen and the cross will disappear.
Oh, blind
Did
spot.
it work? Around 30 centimeters or 12
Yeah,
inches
around
away
here.
works for me. Pretty weird, huh?
It's a
Try with
bloody
the other
blind
eye, too.
spot.
Cover your right one, stare at the cross, and move until the dot disappears. That's your blind spot. And
Yeah.
every animal with a backbone has a blind spot in each eye because of how the eye is built. The light-sensitive layer inside your eye is filled with tiny cells called photoreceptors. They're like
But
little
there's a spot.
microphones. One end turns photons of light
Yeah,
into
but
electrical
there's a
signals,
spot
and
with-
the other end
that's
is
just
a
blank.
wire that carries the signal away. Except our retinas are built so the cables are pointed towards the light, like talking to the back of a microphone. The cables from all those little microphones have to pass through a hole in the retina to get
Yeah.
to the brain. And where that hole
There's a blank
is,
spot.
we have a blind spot. We just don't usually notice it because our brain lies to us and fills in the image. Why do we have it? Well, because at some point, way back in evolution, when our ancestors started to evolve the first light-sensitive tissues, that's just the direction the cells were facing. And later, when those patches morphed into actual eyes, it was too late. The backwards pattern was already set. Evolution can't suddenly flip a whole eye around. It can only make tweaks to what's already there. But cephalopods, like octopuses,
Yeah.
squid, and cuttlefish, they don't have a blind spot. This branch of animals evolved eyes completely on their own, and in early octopus ancestors, the cables on all their microphone-shaped light-sensing cells pointed towards the back, so their retina is unbroken. Am I saying that cephalopods have better eyes than us? Yes.
Yeah.
Point cephalopods, and another point for having 8 legs. Okay, enough about eyes.
And also the giant squid has the biggest
Why is there so much empty space in our...
sinuses. Oh god. Should have seen this one coming. The nose. Humans don't have that good a sense of smell. I mean, like, all senses are pretty pathetic. That's probably why we reproduce quite a lot. Because, you know, so many problems here. We're kind of low on the food chain, so low on the food chain means we need to repopulate fast to keep our numbers up. And, like, really, a lot of these things are just physical problems. Our brain is what let us, you know, survive till till the present day. Because other than that, we traded so much for this, so much. I mean, chimps, for example, are just crazy strong. Like a chimp is only about what, up to my knee, maybe halfway into my thigh. I don't know, something like that. But even then, they're like what, 2 or was it 4 times stronger than a human? And that's just the average chimp against the average human. Like, there's strongmen and bodybuilders out there that can pull trucks and whatnot, but they're trained for that. They bench press all this and lift weights and everything, and for years. These chimps don't need to do that, and they're already crazy strong. Imagine if they did do that. Imagine how strong they'd be. Anyways, oh yeah, and the nose. Was exactly what he was talking about. Humans don't have that good a nose. Not what's it called, the nasal cavity? Yeah, the nasal cavity, very small. Can't sense a lot of smells. And also, what else? Yeah, this thing's sticking out. It's very easy target. I mean, this can just be broken. Getting with the chimps, you know how they have their jaws sticking out a bit? It kind of covers up their nose. Well, not exactly cover, but reinforces it. So instead of this skinny thing sticking out, it's just, like this. It's just this whole jaws out. And also, another advantage of jaws, sticking out. Teeth are always aligned. Like, if you see my teeth, hey, this front one's like bent and sticking out forward a lot. Now, more jaws, a bigger jaw will have more space for the teeth. And also, bigger jaws, as I said about angular momentum before, this is going to be weaker than here, but faster. Jaw muscles are usually stronger to make up for it. So, basically, the bigger jaws will have a stronger bite. Take a saltwater croc, for example. The strongest bite in the world. And they have these massive jaws. Anyways.
Bulls. I can take you off the set at any time, right? Watch it, Globy. And when we breathe, air enters our nose and passes through 4 chambers called sinuses. And there the air gets warmed up, humidified, and filtered by mucous membranes. The mucus then drains out and back down your throat to your stomach. Gross. That works pretty well for the sinuses up on top. They have gravity to help them. But the big ones behind your cheeks, they drain up. That difficult drainage is why humans get so many head colds and sinus infections. You know who doesn't get sinus infections? Dogs. Dogs and other animals that rely mainly on smell tend to have elongated nasal cavities, which drain down and back with gravity,
that's what they're called.
The correct way. But as our ancestors became more dependent on vision and less dependent on smell, our snouts got all smushed up into our flat faces, and now we have these tiny noses and get sick all the time.
Yep. And also easy target.
If you accidentally eat some air,
sticking out.
No biggie, just burp it out.
Just
but if you breathe in your food, you're gonna choke and maybe die. What's up with that? It comes down to the fact that like most other vertebrates, we breathe and eat through the same throat hole. Another one of evolution's amazing bright ideas.
Yeah.
But I once saw a bird swallow a fish as big as its head. It did not die. It just had a delicious meal. If I did that, I would die.
Yeah.
But snakes and birds can swallow huge meals whole because their nostrils connect directly to their breathing parts without going through the throat.
The throat is for swallowing.
System. But in every mammal, we've
and
just
the
got
nose
the one
is for
tube,
breathing.
and all that separates the digesting part from the breathing part is a little flap called the epiglottis. Epiglottis open, you're breathing. Epiglottis closed, you can eat or drink. If you mess up that order, well, here's how to do the Heimlich.
Yeah.
Now, lots of animals can choke. Even whales can choke if fish get stuck in their blowholes. Yes, that actually happens. But humans are especially prone to choking because our voice box, or larynx, has moved up so high in our throats. I tell you, these throats were made for talking. Some languages even make vocal sounds using the epiglottis, like in some African languages.
To, to,
That higher voice
Toll,
box has squished up the
toll.
swallowing parts of our throat, so there's not a lot of room for error. But on the plus side, we can yodel, so maybe we call this bad evolutionary trait a tie.
Yep.
So, walking upright. Pros, all the cool stuff we can do. Cons, so many unique and painful ways to injure ourselves. Some of your body's joints are beautiful. I'm a huge fan of the jaw. Oh, and the hip, that ball, that socket. It's like Michelangelo sculpted it. But the human knee and ankle look like an elementary school art project held together by rubber bands. Back when our ancestors walked
Oh yeah, and another thing, like onto the joints. He's back to what I said about evolution only taking hundreds of years, hundreds of thousands of years for us instead of millions. This isn't our knees and ankles and whatnot aren't strong enough. Okay, like I said, we were built more for climbing, and then only hundreds of thousands of years of evolution to adapt to the ground. That kind of makes our knees, or knees and ankles, not strong enough. I mean, they're strong, but it's, like, not enough evolution-wise. Anyways.
Fours, they had twice as many limbs and muscles to carry their
Yeah.
weight. But when they transitioned to
Spreading
walking
it
on
out.
2 legs, it put a lot more stress on our knees and ankles. When you quickly change direction while running, the anterior cruciate ligament is basically the only thing holding the 2 halves of your leg together. It has basically no blood vessels, and if you tear it, the only way to fix it is surgery, which we only invented like 100 years ago or something. I have personally
Yeah.
known at least a dozen people who have torn their ACL. Now,
Except
if we were
not strong
hunter-gatherers
enough.
or ancient hominids, every one of them would probably be dead. I don't even know why I'm laughing. That's horrible. And right under that is the Achilles tendon. Since we walk on the balls of our feet, that tendon takes basically all the force of the lower leg like a big fleshy rubber band. If you tear that one, you also can't walk. It's maybe the most important tendon in your body, so of course it just sits there on the back of the leg, completely exposed, waiting for the person behind us at the grocery store to just ram it with their cart, or I don't know, maybe your mythical arch nemesis.
Yeah, I remember
hit you with
that.
a poison arrow. This is not how you would engineer bipedal legs from the ground up. It's way too many weak spots for any crucial structural system. But when the assignment was turn an animal that walks on all fours into a fancy dancing ape on 2 legs,
Yeah.
evolution had to work with what it was given. Body
Oh,
parts
right.
are one thing.
Now the diet. Human, the stomach, very, very weak. Very weak. Like, I'll draw an example to gorillas. I think their stomach's about 30% of their weight. Was it weight? Or area? I don't remember. But anyways, they have massive guts, which is because they're herbivores. Plants, like, I'm not talking fruit. Fruit is easy to digest. It's made to be eaten. But things like vegetables or grasses or whatnot, yeah, it's very tough. Plant cells are pretty tough to break down. I mean, sure, you can just chew it up, but then there's, the rest of the digesting. It doesn't work, it doesn't break down enough to get all the nutrients out for us. And, which is why it's not that good to have a raw diet, because, yeah, sure, you'll be losing weight, but that's because you're slowly starving yourself. For us, we cook our food to get all the to really break it down and get all the nutrients out. But for other animals, they're just, well, herbivores to be, for example, they have their food stays in their body a lot longer to just really ferment and break down. Like, as I said, gorillas, massive stomachs, it stays in there longer. Cows have I think 4 stomachs. So just goes from one, then the other, and so on. Horses, similar thing, but with alcohol. Like, as it ferments in their body, their usual diet as it ferments in their body, the alcohol is naturally made, and their livers are built to deal with it. So essentially, they can't get drunk from alcohol. And also, back in the prehistoric times, time of the dinosaurs, a lot of herbivores had like hundreds of teeth just packed together, made for just grinding plants down. And also, some of them were just really big and wide, like the Ankylosaurus, which that was just to, ferment and break everything down and over a long period of time. Anyways. Am I missing anything? No, I don't think I am. Anyways, yeah.
Evolution has messed up our insides too. Like, we are really poorly cut out for eating. Pretty much every animal needs the same nutrients in order to function. Stuff like amino acids, vitamins, and a few minerals. But most animals make most of these things for themselves. But we have to get a literal grocery list of nutrients from our diet. Take vitamins. That's what we call essential macronutrients that we have to get from our diet to survive. Vitamin C, for example. More than half a dozen proteins need vitamin C around to do their job. Without it, your bones get brittle, your tissue breaks down, you just bleed, and your teeth fall out. Scurvy is no fun. Pretty important stuff is vitamin C, so of course we can't make any, like at all. We have to get every bit we need from our diet. Now, almost every animal on Earth makes their own vitamin C. My dog never has to drink orange juice, neither does a cow or a cat, but I do. Strangely, humans have all the genes necessary to make vitamin C in our DNA. Yet somewhere in our evolutionary history, in some ancestor of all primates, one piece of that vitamin C machinery mutated and broke. Now we have to eat it or die, along with all of these. Of the 20 amino acids we need to build proteins, our bodies only make 11. And many animals can make all 20, but we have to get almost half from our diet. Needing to have ready sources of these essential nutrients has placed restrictions on where and how our species could live, at least before we could walk into any pharmacy and get them all in pill form.
Which one of these pills is the corned beef and which one is the cabbage?
Pretty much everywhere you look, it seems like our body has room for evolutionary improvement. Our teeth, most people grow a third set of molars, wisdom teeth, that won't even fit in their mouth and have to be removed.
Yeah, as I said.
Do I need to mention the fact that a male's gamete-producing organs sit dangerously exposed outside the body? And the pelvis. Most women can't deliver a baby without medical assistance because the human head is so large.
Yeah. The thing is, human head, for the brain, human head has a large brain. So fitting that through, giving birth to something with a big brain, not too easy. Especially since we need to walk upright. Like, how we walk is like, we have very kind of narrow hips. Well, narrow. For walking, just a very graceful walking. Well, graceful, because if it was a lot wider, it would be like this. Like, if you try to walk with your legs just spread out, it's gonna look weird. And so yeah, we're stuck between, narrow hips, so it's easier to walk more gracefully, well, more steadily, and also needing wider hips, so birthing is easier. Like, with animals, you wouldn't really hear about any sort of miscarriages or anything. With humans, well, as you said, need medical assistance, and there's miscarriages. So yeah. Wide hips, good thing. Anyways.
Who came up with all these bad ideas? The answer, of course, is no one. Thanks to science, we know that the human body isn't engineered or designed, it's evolved. Everything is the way it is because it got that way, making tiny tweaks to what was there before. That means that our backs hurt because we're walking upright with a spine that used to be horizontal. We get fooled, and we fool ourselves because our brains evolved in a different world from the one that we invented in the past few decades. And sure, our bodies are full of parts that barely get the job done, full of things that could be built way better. And that can be frustrating, sometimes even painful. But nobody, and I literally mean nobody, is perfect. Because surviving isn't about being perfect. It's about being good enough. It's about being imperfect in the perfect way. And if you're watching this today, then you are good enough. Because you're a survivor of a 4 billion year story. Our flaws make us who we are because evolution and natural selection made us who we are. Flaws and all. Stay curious. A huge thank you to everyone who supports the show on Patreon.
So, he's right. Well, about the other thing, like, no body is perfect. Yeah, there are different bodies for different tasks. Gorillas, for example, you know, they're big, buff things. Like, you see, they kind of got a big gut. They're big boys. And they are crazy strong. They're like anchors, the anchor type of strong, you know, just as for moving heavy things. Compared to, say, monkeys, they're a lot lighter. You know, they've got these limber arms and everything. They can't lift a lot, but they can swing like crazy. And there's also other things. The sailfish, for example, the fastest fish in the world, is built for speed. But once again, strength, well, underwater it is a very strong swimmer. Actually, another example, cheetah, for example. You know, it's very thin, limber. Can't take down, say, a leopard or a lion. Like, no chance. But it is crazy fast. Like, the advantage of 4 legs is how would I put this? If you measure the leap you get, well, one of your leaps or bounds or whatever they're called in a run, like just going from one leg to the other one, measuring that distance, compared to, say, just you're in a crouching position and just jump and land on your hands. That's going to be a lot further. And with cheetahs, that's pretty much all the time. Or just any 4-legged creatures. And with cheetahs, they have these spines that are like springs that just flick. See, well, the spine is just, you know, kind of curved like this. And think of this as the front and this is the back. This is just flick. They can cover several meters in one bound. I'm pretty sure. Was it several? Yeah. Several or a dozen, something like that. But your point is different bodies, different tasks. And with us, we just got stuck in the middle of on the ground and in the trees. Now, and also we traded a lot of physical abilities for our brains. So, with all that being said, hope you guys enjoy the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.